What's up, guys? I'm Crystal Lee Naomi, aka Jasmine Borders on Tyler Perry's Sisters. Be sure to subscribe to the Haves and the Have-Nots review for not only reviews on the Haves and the Have-Nots, but also on Sisters. And while you're at it, give your girl a follow on Instagram at Crystal Lee Naomi. And I'll see you every Wednesday at 9, only on BET.
All right, Sisters fans. Now, the mystery of who used Karen's credit card. He's gotten a bit deeper. Now, keep in mind, though, we only. Is it just me, or does it feel like we got more than one episode? I know we only got one episode last week, but it doesn't feel like, oh, well, this upcoming Wednesday is only episode 2 of part 2 of season 2. Doesn't feel like it. But in any case, go ahead and like this video, hit subscribe, click the bell notification icon and select all. That way you don't miss out whenever I post new content to the channel. And follow me on social media. Links are in the description box below. I don't think Zack used a credit card. I mean, to me, it just seems way too obvious if he did. But keep in mind, if Zack used a credit card, what did he spend it on exactly? Because let's be honest here. All we know is that he's been staying with Danny, and then he kind of shifted gears to stay with Fatima, and he's just been trying to do everything he could in order to get himself back, back on track. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean, the only elaborate, expensive thing I even recall was Pam sending, was it like a bottle of champagne or something like that, to Aaron and Karen's hotel room because she assumed that it was Karen and Zack at the hotel. She didn't know it was Karen and Aaron. And she told Zack, hey, don't worry, you can pay me back later. There are a lot of fans speculating that Pam is the one who used the card because during the hiatus, which was only about a month between, the end of the mid-season finale and then the premiere of the back half of season 2, which we got last week. During that break, people are like, man, it was either, Aaron that's been using the card or maybe Hayden. I know some people are dismissing Hayden, but you really shouldn't do that. Remember, just like Mike from Bruh, he's a lawyer in regards of taxes. So I'm no expert, but it wouldn't surprise me if someone who knows the ins and outs of finances wouldn't be able to somehow utilize, bank statements or, hell, to be honest, probably come up with some falsified documents and have them sent to people. So it's possible that these credit card charges under Zack Taylor, I believe, or Zachary Taylor, are fraudulent. Because think about it. I mean, if somebody tries to, hack your account or something along those lines, more often than not, they wouldn't be dumb enough to use their real names. They'll come up with something which is ridiculously, oh, that's not a real name, or they'll use someone else's name. And it does seem a bit suspicious that right after Pam tells Karen about those charges, we meet her new boo. I mean, the charges were about, what was it, like $5,600? It was either between $5,000 to $6,000. I forgot the exact amount. And when Karen confronted Zack, he honestly had no idea what she was talking about. And I side with Danny in the fact that, hey, Karen, look, now, before you call the police, you want to make sure that Zack was the one that did it. I'm pretty sure Pam even said the same thing. She brought the news to Karen and said, hey, Karen, are you sure it's him? I don't know if this sounds like something he would do. So I'm going to be honest here. If I were to rank the suspects of who used a credit card, I put Zack at the darn bottom. I would put him off the list completely, but this is Tyler Perry we're talking about. And if you look at season 1, Zack wasn't the most honest or dependable guy. And I'm not just saying because I'm rooting for him this season, but I honestly don't think he used that credit card. I'd say number 3, I'd put Hayden at number 3. Now, don't get me wrong. His reasoning for doing this to Zack would make sense, but based on the last episode, it definitely seems like he's more focused on dealing with Zack utilizing Fatima as opposed through utilizing Karen. Now, if we seen more scenes between him and Zack going at it, like if Zack was adamant about not leaving Fatima alone, then Hayden would come up with a plan to get rid of Zack by saying, you know what, who's this girl who used to date? Karen. Okay, what's her temperament like? Zack has a record. okay, they had a bad breakup. So I bet if I make up some false charges and say Zack did it, she'd probably call the cops on him, and then that will get him out of my hair. So Fatima will be mine. So ironically enough, Hayden, I actually bumped him down to number 3. Pam does seem suspect because you got to think of it this way. When it comes to utilizing a credit card, well, it's hard to say in this day and age because we live in a world where things are scanned, they have chips, you can save things to like your phone or even, a website where you don't even need your physical card as long as you have like the security code or whatever or expiration date. You can just type that in your card. Boom, there you go. So, I mean, you could make the argument, well, maybe the person who used the card is someone who would have access to the card. Now, I know with me personally, what do you usually get credit card statements once a month, especially when it's time to pay the bill, which breaks down all the charges. I really wish we would have seen what the charges were for, because I feel like if we saw what the charge, or well, maybe not us, but for Karen or Pam to say, hey, okay, here's the bill, but what are the charges for? I think that might have actually made more sense as opposed to just looking to the name, Zack Taylor, because looking at the expenses or the charges on the bill, that could possibly break down. It's like, wait, why would Zack buy this? Or he never bought that when we were together. So I feel like just seeing Zachary Taylor or Zack Taylor, it just seems a bit too suspect. Like, it's way too obvious. And if we're going to have conflict between Karen and Zack, who has moved on, by the way, I don't think Zack was the one to do it. So Pam would honestly, I mean, it would make sense if she may have done it because she would have access to the card. You would think, being that she's pretty much, Karen's right hand assistant when it comes to the job. But a lot of people have suspected Aaron because we don't really know. We know it's almost like every time we find out something about Aaron, we find out like there are a bunch more secrets. And I mean, he seems a bit too good to be true, especially this season, especially with his wife and his, his ex's family out of the way. It's almost like we're seeing Aaron in a positive light, but at the same time, I still don't fully trust the guy. So I would say Aaron could be the guy who's been charging up the card. But I think that what's important here is we learn like when these charges took place, because believe it or not, even though this timeline of Sistas doesn't drag to the extent of the haves and have-nots in the Oval, not a lot of time has passed since episode 1 of season 1. So, like I said, I really wish we knew, like, when these charges were made, what the charges were made for, because if we knew what these charges were for, we could probably connect the dots to see who would be the most likely to, run up the card on these specific items. But once again, to go through it, if I were to rank the person who probably used the card, I put Aaron at number 1, Pam at number 2, Hayden at number 3, and Zack at number 4. And if you can come up with any other theories or suspects, or maybe you don't agree with my order at all, but I just don't think Zack would do that. And I think it's pretty effed up for what Karen did to his grandfather's things, especially if it turns out he wasn't the culprit. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about it in the comment section below. And if you would like to donate to the channel, I'm not asking for $5,600, but I mean, if everybody watching this video donated at least just $1 to Cash App or PayPal, I can make things happen. Okay, but all jokes aside, if you want to donate, hit me up on PayPal or Cash App, or join Patreon for as little as $1 a month. And with that being said, I'll catch you in the next video.